right here. Very cool. So you guys should all be able to see my screen. We're gonna get started with DXY. This is recorded and it will be uploaded to YouTube afterwards. It is November 17th, Tuesday. And we're gonna get started with DXY. So looking at DXY, guys, again, we go over this every single session. DXY is just the value of the US dollar. So the currency index is good to look at in correlation with all of these major pairs. As you can see, the dollar index right now is extremely bearish. So when we're looking at GU, UCAD, USAF, all of these pairs, it's good to sort of line up the sentiment and just use it as an additional confirmation here. So let's break down. We're on the weekly time frame. As you can see, guys, weekly time frame, we're below the moving averages. We had this bearish engulfing candle, and now this week opened up pretty bearish. So we could be coming back down to retest this lower weekly level down here at 91,800. That is currently what I'm expecting. Again, we keep on this monthly and weekly time frame. We put these monthly levels based on the line chart. So we teach this inside of the course. So we put our support and resistance levels, mainly just these key levels on this higher time frame. These are areas where when price comes within, as you can see up here, it'll either reject, find support, or it's just a lot of volume. So it's an order flow, order area, order zone, where a lot of orders are going to come in at this point. So as we're looking at DXY on the candlestick chart, we can see it is very bearish. Structure on the daily time frame is bearish. So we're still below this daily lower high. As we come down to the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame is extremely bearish as well. We opened up this week gapping down. We came back up, retraced, had this pin bar, and then we started to just push lower and lower. So by all means, DXY is very bearish. So with that in mind, let's go over now and check out. Everyone should be muted. Let me see. Eldon, I'll mute him.
You here? Check.
Try to get everybody muted. All right, we're good.
I don't think you can hear us, guys.
Cool. What's up, Nick?
There we go.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, cool. There were just some people unmuted. You weren't able to hear.
All right, so let's get over to GU. So earlier this week, we took a little short on GU. Did not work out well. Came up to stop loss, but that's okay. Let's take a look at what's going on with this. So let's bump up to the weekly time frame. Pretty much our idea, the reason why we were looking to short GU was we're coming up to this weekly resistance level that we haven't broken all the way since 2018. So this level has not been eclipsed since 2018. So I still am looking for shorts in this area. That entry was a little bit premature. We'll go over that in a second. But based on DXY, what we just looked at, guys. So DXY is pushing down. So DXY has bearish sentiment right now. And that would mean that GU would continue to push up. So as the US dollar loses strength in the currency index, GBP most likely would gain against the dollar, and that's what we're seeing right now. So as we go down to the daily, we can see here on the daily time frame, if we're just looking at structure, we put on a little trend line right here. As we can see, this has been maintained for the most part, this daily uptrend. Again, we're coming into this weekly resistance level, but buyers have been stepping in over and over again on the daily time frame. Moving averages are blue over red right here. So the sentiment on the daily time frame is bullish, very clearly bullish. As we get down to the 4-hour time frame as well, 4-hour time frame is bullish too. So 4-hour time frame has been making ever since this right here broke, has been making higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, and we just pushed up to a new high right here. We pulled back, we made a new higher low. We could fib this from the low to the high, so we hit 50%. So this is our most recent level all the way down in the 4-hour time frame. So I'm just going to mark this off. So when it comes to this weekly transition and really getting in on that move where we would reject this weekly level and potentially reverse all the way to the downside, what we really need to see here, guys, is we need to see this 4-hour level break, very similar to back here. We would need to see this level break right here. So this is a major level of structure that we just formed. We would be comfortable taking shorts once this level breaks. Sure, we can look to get in again on something more aggressive. As we come to the 1-hour, we can look at structure on this time frame. We were forming the same thing. It's in an uptrend, forming highs, higher low, higher high, came down, retested this low. Now we're pushing up to form a new higher high here. The aggressive entry would be a break of this level right here. So again, looking for shorts really because we're at this high point and we've dumped off from this area previously multiple times. So first we would need this level to break. So I'm just going to mark this out. We would need to come all the way down here. And then more conservatively, more safely, we would need this 4-hour level to break. So we'll see what happens. As I come back up to the daily, we can see all the way up here, we've got this supply zone. So this was the highest point that price reached previously. We could be coming, we for sure could come back into this area and grab the selling orders that are up in this area and then shoot down, into these lower levels. Considering DXY is trending downward, this thing could continue to push all the way up into that area. If you wanted to take buys, now is not the time. We're at a high point right now. Now is not the time. Buying opportunities were, for example, this would have been one entry candle for a buy right there. And then this would have been another entry candle for the buy right there. So at the moment, no buys on this, to the upside, and to the downside, we're not selling until we can see a break of support at this level down here. So I'll put this one in the premium analysis in the chat down here for you guys that are in on this. I'll update that after the session. Let's move over to UCAD. Let's take a look, bump up to the weekly time frame on UCAD. So UCAD's in an interesting spot right now. I'm just going to clear some of this up. We'll have a fresh perspective on this. So with UCAD, we are down at the support level right now. So we're on a weekly level of support right now. As you can see, last week formed this like spinning top candle at this support level. So going into this week with that reversal candle on the weekly time frame, I'm thinking we could potentially push higher. At the same time, we are all the way below. We're all the way below the 200-day, both moving averages right now. So sentiment is still very much bearish. Going down to the daily time frame. So daily time frame, again, structure very bearish in here. Our main fib is on this daily time frame right here. We came up, hit this -61 or hit this 618 area, pushed down, came up, hit 50%, pushed down, and now we're just in this leg right here. So let's bump down to the 4-hour to break this down. Look at 4-hour structure. So 4-hour structure, we're still very much bearish. Just want to take one look at the daily. So daily bearish, 4-hour time frame bearish. Right here, we can fib from this previous lower high point to this low right here. We hit the 61.8% level earlier this week. We were talking about potential shorts on this one earlier in the week because we had this bearish engulfing, and then we pushed to the downside. Now we're coming back for a bit of a retracement, which is, quite surprising. It means that CAD is a lot weaker than the dollar right now, despite the dollar being weak. So CAD is very much losing strength. But right now, let's just think of it in terms of time frame. So daily is bearish, weekly is bearish, 4-hour time frame is bearish. We can go all the way down to the 30-minute, look at 30-minute structure. As we can see, 30-minute time frame had been trending downward, forming this lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then we just formed this level, and this level just broke. So we have a break of structure on the 30-minute time frame. So we're not going to take any entries on this time frame up to the 1 hour. This is where things are a little bit choppy on this time frame. We just respected 200-day. We're moving back up. So pretty much right here, what I'm looking at is the 4 hour. 4 hour time frame. I'm sitting on this time frame. We're going to see how it reacts to this level. In order to get in on shorts again on this, guys, we're going to need some sort of confirmation on this time frame. So we're going to wait for something similar to this, a bearish engulfing. Here we had two. We'll wait for something like that, because if we break down these bearish engulfing candles over here, we can see that there was very clear opportunities for entry. So pretty much we had that first bearish engulfing candle, didn't break any structure or anything, just pushed downward in this bullish 30-minute time frame. And then we had this next bearish engulfing candle. So this push down, we ended up breaking support here. And then we had this pullback, and this was the entry on that on the first opportunity to short on this. Could have entered there, could have put stops right above this level at around 20 pips, targeted around 2 to 1, could have targeted this lower zone. And then as you could see, we ended up about 40 pips in profit, so we could have closed at 2 to 1. Or if we continued to hold, eventually started to reverse on us right here. So we could have got out of this position really in this area or in this area right here. So was a decent trade, could have captured some profits on that one. But as we can see at the moment, this thing is just pushing back to the upside. So we're going to have to just wait on this. So I'm going to move UCAD to red. This one isn't as high on my list. I'm going to put this one as orange. We're getting ready for that one. Let's look at USEF. So USEF is moving how it should. So DXY is falling. So USEF is gaining, or is falling as well. So CHF is gaining strength against the dollar. And I believe we had put this one out earlier in the week in the premium analysis. So we had the potential entry opportunity on USEF, and we'll go over that right now. So let's start up on the weekly time frame. So weekly time frame on USEF, basically we were at the support level, but still very much bearish in this trend right here. Moving averages still red over blue. So weekly time frame bearish. Daily time frame, same thing. Have this trend line. So overall structure is bearish. We're in a downtrend. Daily resistance level, daily structure was right here. As we could see earlier in the week, we had this bearish price action right here. And that was what told me that we potentially could go lower. As we break this down to the 4 hour was the same thing. If we fib this, we had this high to this low. We came up 88.6 level, started to reject there. Moving averages started to cross right here. And this is when we were starting to look for potential sell opportunities. So up at this right here, we had this cross, then we pushed down even below the 200-day, then we pushed up. And then this was when I was putting out that analysis, like right in this area. So let's go down to the 30-minute time frame. We'll go down first to the 1 hour, and then we'll hit the 30 minutes. So this is when the moving averages started to cross on the 4 hour time frame. Let's just look at structure on the 1 hour, see if we can make sense of any of this. We had this high form, minor pullback, high formed, more major pullback, had some structure form right here, and then another pullback. So I'm just going to mark this random line right here. So this is the level ultimately that was broken. We pushed up, made a new high, came back, started to test this level, and then we broke below right here. And this is where we opened the week. So the week opened with this break of structure, and we were looking for that pullback, I believe, in the analysis. So that was the 4 hour, and then this was the 1 hour. So this analysis was actually given pretty much right where you should have entered in on this trade. So I'm pretty sure the analysis was given as a short position right here. We had stops right above here. And as you can see, we're pushing into some profits now. The target's going to be this lower zone down here. So why would I have entered on this? Basically, guys, we had the retest of the support turned into resistance. and then we had the rejection of that level. And ultimately, once this thing started to cross, I'm just going to highlight this. I really like to wait for these moving average crosses right here. Once this thing started to cross, that was a good indication that we could have entered and put our stops above here, because this just denotes structure. So as this crosses, this tells me that if this level breaks, we are no longer in a downtrend. So this is a great area to actually take a trade in and put our stops above this area, because it could come all the way up and retest this area and we're still fine. We're still in structure. We're still in the trend. We went down to the 30-minute. You can see if there was even a better entry on this one. So 30-minute, as we could see, broke structure the same way, pulled all the way back up. And I believe this is where I had the entry on the 30-minute in live time. So this is where I would have entered in live time right here. Same stops above the 200-day, stops above structure. And then as you can see, this thing's pushing pretty well. So USEF, I'm looking for this thing to come into this lower level to push down as we come up to the 4-hour time frame. You know, we have this monthly level down here that this is where buyers are sitting right now, down at this level. So if you're in USEF right now, just hold it, continue to wait. If you're going to maintain this order, move your stops to break even. At this point, it's a good time to move stops. It's also good to look at, I'm going to bump up. So USEF is a trade that's currently in. Let's look at UCAD again. So UCAD, as we talked about, is pushing higher, just broke that 30-minute structure. I'm still looking for UCAD shorts. Not at the moment, but we're going to see over the next 4 hours how this plays out. The way that USEF's running, I could see UCAD going the same way. So we're going to hold off on that for now. Let's look at EU. And this thing is coming up into these higher levels again. And let's just bump up to the monthly time frame. So monthly time frame, we have this huge resistance level up here at like 19400, right at this level, this bearish engulfing that forms. So we're pushing up into that level. So I am weary on taking buys right now with this. Although, as you can see, weekly time frame, moving averages, everything's bullish. Everything's very much bullish, you know, but we're just at a high point right now. Daily time frame, again, you know, we just broke, or we didn't break. We're actually testing this level right now, so we're pushing higher. And as you can see previously, rejection, move down, rejection, move down. So guys, as this price comes up into this level, into this 19300, 400 zone, above this 18500 level, I'm really still looking for sells. Like sellers are not looking pretty right now. There's no, you know, it's just buys all the way on the 1 hour. Obviously, very clearly buys. 30-minute, very clearly an uptrend. 4-hour time frame. Again, you know, very clearly pushing higher and higher. Moving averages are blue over red right now. So if you wanted to be on the buyer side, if you wanted to take buys, there's no entry right now. The entries are when we're having the pullback. So we had the entry right here when price came through the moving average, and then even when it retested right there. When was that? November 16th. So that was yesterday. And then EU, same thing. We had the next entry came in right there when price pushed up. So next buy opportunity, you got to wait, you know, wait for something similar to that, wait for price to come down and retest structure. We're just at a high point right now. So I wouldn't enter on any buys on that. On the flip side, you know, if you're trying to get in on that longer term sell, the bigger move, which is definitely going to be a sell at some point. As I sit on this daily time frame, this is really where it tells me the best story for a sell right now. As we come up into this high level up here, 19400, 300, I'm going to look for lower time frame breaks, most likely like a 1 hour break. As we could see back here, we had this break right here, pushed back up, entry signal right there, and then we moved into a good amount of profits, 3-1. So I'm going to look for a similar move on that to the downside on EU. If you wanted to buy, just be more conservative. Do not buy right now, guys. Wait for the pullback and wait for the entry on some sort of higher low point. So that's EU. EU, I'm just going to be sitting on like the 4 hour. Nothing really shaping up for entries right now. So I'm going to keep this one as red. Let's go to NU. So this one looks like it's ready. Let's go up to the weekly. So NU on the weekly time frame. Let's go all the way up to the monthly actually. So monthly time frame, we're hitting this monthly level of resistance. So as we could see previously, we either zoom to the upside, we rejected this level, or we rejected this level to the downside. So we either found support or we found rejection. We're hitting this level again. So I am expecting this thing to find rejection here, or potentially we'll see. We'll see what price action shows us down to the weekly time frame. One thing I will say is we did pop above the weekly time frame, but guys, look how bearish this has just been forever. Since 2014, this thing has been bearish below this 200-day. Yes, we're popping above here, but look previously. We popped above, pulled down, popped above, pulled down. So I'm looking for potential reversals. As I work down to the daily, nothing doing on the daily. We're just at a high point. We're all the way at a high point. Nothing doing on this time frame. Doesn't do much for me. And then as we come to the 4 hour, this is where I'm sizing up a potential short. So 4 hour is coming up, double top. We're making a potential double top here. We have highs. I was saying I'm not taking any buys until we get above this level. And we're starting to get a lot of reversal signals. So we got dojis right here. Now we're getting some bearish price actions come in. And NU is normally earlier than these other pairs. This has happened before with NU where it started to go bearish a little bit earlier than these other pairs. So it doesn't correlate as closely with DXY. Let's just go down to the 30-minute. As we can see on this 4 hour time frame, 4 hour is the moving averages are yet to cross. So still very much, above these moving averages right now. So that's a good tool to use. Down to the 30-minute, this is kind of very cut and dry what I'm looking for. And this is the most immediate trade right now that's close to entry. If we get below this level, guys, we are going to look to sell. If we get below this support level on the 30-minute time frame, then we are going to look to sell. We just formed a lower high on this time frame. We're not going to enter yet because we can see here previously what happened. Formed a lower high point, broke support, came up and just zoomed back to the upside. So we need this to push below and pull back. So we're going to need a push below and a lower high to form to enter on this, but this one is the most immediate for entry. So I'm going to move this one up. We had GU as well, but this one's not as close. So NU is the most immediate to entry. Now, what if it hits this support level and moves back through the moving averages to the upside? Let's just go back up to the 4 hour, get a picture of what that would look like. So say we wick this hard and we start to push higher. I again will not take a buy until we get above this level. So 9,000. That's when I will look to take a buy. So right here on NU, early entries on this would be a break of 30-minute. We wanted to be a little bit more patient on this one. We could come down to the 1 hour time frame, wait for some sort of 1 hour move or push or whatever. But I'm going to use the 30-minute. I'm going to be pretty aggressive on this one. And this is our most immediate trade for today. So I went over NU, USEF, GU, UCAD, EU. One last pair I'm going to go over is going to be GJ. I haven't been looking at this one much, but we could take a look at what's going on here. Let's just start up on the weekly. So weekly time frame with GJ, still very much bearish, guys, below the 200-day, below this trend line. So kind of just a one look, very much bearish last week, large wick right in here. So a couple indicators right there telling me we could potentially be bearish. Down to the daily, what story does this time frame tell us? Daily time frame structure is very much bullish. So structure is very much bullish on this time frame. I'm just going to draw out this little trend line right here. So we've been forming these higher lows. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take this off, clear this up a little bit. So daily time frame, still very much bullish. 4-hour time frame right here, just broke, very much bullish, broke structure right here to the upside. We could fib this from our low to our high. We're sitting at this 50% level. This is also previous level of resistance, now turned support. So we're definitely in a zone right now. And as you can see, we're finding some support here. So we're hitting this low. We had this large wick. I'm just gonna move down to the 30-minute real quick. All right, so 30-minute, 1 hour. So we're pretty much in this box right now. We're just boxing. So in order to actually enter on this, I'm going to wait. All we need, guys, because we got a lot of confirmation here. All we need is to break above this level. Boom. So that's GJ. This is another immediate trade, more immediate trade for us. So we're going to be patient, and we're going to look to potentially enter on this one. And again, went over all the major pairs. I'm going to pass it over to Nick now. Before I do, though, if you guys want to get in on the giveaway, if you want to get on the giveaway, just post your Discord name in the chat. The winner will be announced at the end of the week. And we'll try to answer some questions you guys have towards the end of the week. I see Nick going in there answering some questions. So I'm going to go ahead and let Nick share up, and he's going to get into some pairs. So here.
All right, cool. Yeah, so good analysis, Angelo. A lot of a couple immediate setups this week, but all kind of depending on bearish dollar, right? So let's just do a quick recap of pretty much what Angelo covered. We're on DXY here. Jump to the daily time frame. Pretty much everything I'm going to cover is supporting that bearish outlook. I mean, if we just zoom out here, we're clearly recently very, very bearish, especially as we saw a break of this weekly higher low. We got a lower high and a nice move through that level. Nice drop down to our monthly zone followed by consolidation. So that's where we are now. We're literally at this bit of consolidation. It is looking more bearish than anything else, as we do have a ton of lower highs. We're seeing lower lows, and then price action is getting slammed into significant support. So it's definitely looking bearish. Right now, we do have a recent lower high and a bit of a head and shoulders pattern, as this would be the left shoulder, this would be the head, this would be the neckline, right shoulder retesting this broken level at 92.85. So yeah, there was a bit of an entry here. We had a nice bearish setup pushing through 92.5 as well. So I think it's very likely that we'll see DXY kind of slide down towards our monthly zone near 91.5. Now it could retrace, it could drop, come back, give us a lower high, and then push lower. But overall, we are still very bearish. So keep that in mind. Definitely looking to make a nice move down towards 91.5. So yeah, that's DXY. Bearish as hell, guys. So with that, we can kind of get a better gauge for what some of these other pairs are doing, like our first major pair, AU here. So if the dollar's dropping, we should see AU be appreciating, relatively. And that's exactly what we saw. So let's go to the daily time frame first, and we'll work our way down. Overall, very bullish recently, as we had a break of this weekly lower high. Then we got a higher low, nice rally through this zone. So that changed our trend on the weekly. So we're now bullish on the weekly, right? So what happened after that break? Price action gave us a nice ascending channel, then pulled back, gave us a nice double bottom at our weekly, and then pushed up. So let's drop to the 4-hour, take a look at that. And this is most recent price action. So this is just covering the break of this monthly, the ascending channel, the pullback, with a nice daily transition here. Gave us a bit of a range. Decided to push up on election news here. This was as the dollar was dropping. We got a nice rally out of AU. It pushed up, it held, it consolidated, pulled back, gave us 38.2 pullback, as you guys can see here. Nice fib level was hit. It's part of our rule set. We wanted to see that. We saw it. Nice bullish variation, MA cross, and the thing took off. So we actually had marked this trade up. This was marked up on Sunday, I believe. And we're waiting for a pullback. So at that point on Sunday, we were waiting for this consolidation to kind of just die down. Or when was this? When was this? This was yesterday. Yeah, this was yesterday. I'm sorry. This analysis, we're waiting for this to kind of pull back. I wanted to see an MA cross, MA pullback, some sort of higher low at the 4-hour, followed by, bullish setups. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. This kind of just took off, and it shot straight towards our resistance at 0.734. So it didn't give us a pullback. However, the sentiment was there. Still could have been probably a decent trade if you had caught it early enough anyway. So from here, what do we do now, right? So now we're at a high. What do we have to wait for? Two potential scenarios here. Either it's going to pull back, finally, and then look to enter at a higher low at this 4 hour. So this is a possibility. Or wait for this push to complete and then wait for a break of 0.734. Same thing, enter on a higher low. So this is a very real possibility. Either of these long opportunities are real. And then we'll play it accordingly. It just depends how price action reacts at this 0.734 handle. We're not going to buy or sell there. I want to see something. I want to see, structure form. I want to see more normal market conditions before we can get into a decent trade. So let's go over short positions for a second. I am long until I see a lower high, a confirmed lower high form below this 4 hour. And then I'll change my sentiment, start looking at potential shorts, and then target lower. But for now, these are our two long scenarios. It's all we're considering until we see a significant break. Okay, so that's AU. Not bad. Definitely bullish, guys, though. As long as DXY remains bearish, AU is going to stay bullish. All right, so let's move on to AJ. Daily time frame to start. Overall, we were very bearish for a while. Very steep bearish channel, right? Lots of lower highs, lower lows, until we got a break of a lower high, which was right here, which was a weekly lower high. Changed our trend after we got this higher low, and then a rally to follow. So we are now bullish on this weekly time frame. But we did, after this rally here, after this change of trend, we got a nice rally into our monthly zone, but price action didn't have the conviction. It didn't give us the higher low that we needed to see, and actually rejected this level pretty hard. So we got a nice daily break of a higher low there. So that was a daily change of trend. And then we saw this bearish channel form. So now we want to drop down to this. I drop to the 4 hour, get a closer look at this price action and see what's going on. So here is that descending channel, right? And we did get a nice transition once this 75 handle was broken. We got a nice rally into the monthly again, into our daily zone, where we started getting some pattern. I mean, we got a nice pennant. So that was a continuation pattern. However, it failed. So it actually pulled back through the MAs, hit a low, formed a higher low, and then pushed back up. So it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to gauge where it's going on the 4 hours. So we need to drop down once more. Get a closer look at this 1 hour time frame. Let's just clean this up. Let's just see where we're at and what we need to see to make a good trade here. All right, so we fibbed from high to the low because we had a break of these higher lows here. So this was a 4 hour break of structure. Pushed lower, gave us a double bottom off the 200 EMAs, then started pushing up, giving us higher lows. Came all the way back to the 886, rejected, kind of went sideways, pushed back through the 4 hour. So this thing has kind of just been all over the place, right? It's breaking levels left and right. Kind of hard to see where it's going. Let me just adjust this for a second. Okay, good. All right, so from here, a little bit tricky, but we're going to play conservative, and this is what we want to see to go short. If this is going to drop, I want to see a lower high below this 200 EMA at least. So that's really the big factor here is this 200 EMA. If we get a lower high below that, boom, we're good. We're in. We're looking at shorts. We're ready for some sort of bearish setup to enter on. Right in here. Boom. All right, so that'd be really nice. This would be a really nice trade. Just need to see a lower high below the 200, and then we can enter on some bearish setups. For us to go long, however, we need to see a break. We need to see a confirmed higher low above this 4 hour. That's honestly it. That is the key right there. Because this, if we look to the left, we haven't seen any higher lows above this 4 hour. So this is really what we need to see. Let me just extend this again. What's up? All right, so we want to see this higher low above the 4 hour right here. closer to the 76.5 handle. Want to see some sort of higher low above that. And then we could take a long opportunity. Only until we see a higher low above 76.5 is when we could take a long. Until that happens, we are definitely short on this. All right, because we want to be conservative. We've been faked out a bunch of times already, so we're not really interested in getting faked out on a false breakout here. So this is what we want to see. Some sort of confirmed higher low with bullish setups. Similar to this, how it breaks, retests, and then gives us a bullish conviction candle. Something like that, but a little more conservative, something that's not riding on the back of news or speculation. All right, so this is AJ. Definitely favoring a short opportunity first, though. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, looking good. So that's AJ. Yeah, this could be one hell of a short. Just, for the sake of it, let's just mark this up and see what the rest of the reward would be. Just over 2-1. So a good trade. Decent trade. Could be slightly tighter, slightly better risk reward, depending on where your entry is and where your stop would be. But generally, it's going to be, either closer to a 2-1, 3-1, depending. So yeah, this could be a really, really nice trade. So that's AJ. And of course, guys, this is the 1 hour. So as this gets closer to execution, if let's say we do see a break of the 200 EMA, I'll come over to premium analysis then, and drop it in here. Right, drop it in analysis section. As we're getting closer to entries, we'll drop it in here. 1 hour, 30-minute setups get you guys prepared for these upcoming trades. All right, so that's AJ. Let's move on to UJ. This one was really close to an entry. It actually did execute. We'll get to it in a second. Daily time frame to start. All right, so UJ is overall super bearish, guys. I mean, we can zoom out and just see that gigantic descending triangle. Key support of this pattern is 104.5. And then we just got lower highs, lower high after lower high after lower high, just kind of squeezing price action, slamming it into support. So here we are now at the end of that giant triangle, still in the daily, but we did see a recent move through a weekly zone. So this was weekly support, broke, retested, continued pushing lower, continued forming lower highs. So it's squeezing price action. It's getting ready to pop. So we're ready. We're going to drop to the 4 hour now, get a closer look at this price action, and kind of try to identify some potential trade setups. So here we are, 4 hour time frame. Again, another descending triangle that we had right here. Key support 104.5 again. Tons of lower highs leading up to that point. We also had a 4 hour break of structure where we broke through it, retested, and then pushed lower, and we had a huge fall off. Again, this was driven by the election, I believe. So this shot all the way down to 103.2, came back up, didn't give us a lower high. It actually blew right through the pattern and began consolidating just above our 400 level, so our 4 hour level. So it actually didn't have the conviction to push higher, although this was a huge rally. Gave us a pennant, didn't give us the conviction we needed to go long on this. So it actually pulled back through the 4 hour and resumed the overall bearish trend. So we're actually going to drop down one more time frame just to go over this trade scenario with you guys. So here was that rally after news. Market was coming back. It was a consolidation above the 4 hour. Failed to give us a higher low and broke back below our 4 hour zone. So we were here. We had this huge fall off through the 200, and we were expecting some sort of pullback to the 61.8, followed by bearish setups that we could enter on. And then this happened. Then this crazy volume stepped in, where it pulls back, hits 100%, hits the 4 hour, and then rejects immediately with huge volume. So there was a potential entry there. That's essentially what we were looking at. We're looking to take some sort of short opportunity here, but clearly this risk reward was shot. We wanted to take an entry closer to the 61.8. So like if the volume was a little bit less, but we still had these setups playing out, we could have got a really nice trade like this. Well over 2-1 already, still managing pretty much 2-6 right now. So yeah, this would have been a really, really great trade. Obviously, we didn't get the opportunity to really enter on it because of all this volume, but that's fine. Sentiment was there. The analysis was there. We were right. We'll just catch the next one. So where do we go from here, guys, right? So we are so clearly bearish now. We're going to be favoring short opportunities only, right? So at this point, we have pretty much two ways we could short this. or two ways we could see this continue bearish. Either it's going to come back for a pullback, like so. We can clear these fibs up now. Get rid of these fibs. Boom. Okay, so either it's going to pull back, test recent broken, structure, give us some sort of lower high that we can then enter on, target down towards a new low around 103, right? So that's one way that could happen. Or this thing could just keep melting. So either momentum's just going to stay with it or it's going to pull back. I definitely think it's going to pull back a little bit. This melting theory it's possible, but it's not that likely. Normally you would need some sort of, major news event to kick this off. We already kind of just had those news events with the election going on and all this Corona stuff. So I'm definitely favoring some sort of pullback before it drops. So look for that lower high, guys, right off 104.5. Any lower high below 104.5 at this current spot with good conviction, good bear setups, take that entry and target 103. That could be phenomenal. All right, so those are our short scenarios. And we're only looking at shorts until we see this. I honestly just going to play it super safe. I want to see a break of this 200 EMA and this 400. I'm sorry, I keep saying 400. This 4-hour breakout structure, this 4-hour level. That's what I need to see for me to consider any long opportunities. Okay, until that, we're looking for one of these two shorts, preferably the pullback with the lower high. All right, so that's UJ. Not bad. Looking okay. A little far away from an entry, but we're watching this week, so we'll see. Still early. All right, so next is EJ. Let's go over this one. Zoom out here. Overall, we were very bearish. As you can see, giant bearish channel. We did get a weekly transition once this weekly lower high was broken and confirmed by this higher low here. Had a nice rally into our monthly zone where we got kind of a 3-peak reversal, and then we got this nice bearish channel forming. So let's go ahead and drop to a 4-hour, take a closer look at that channel specifically. Here it is, that 3-peak reversal, as I mentioned, followed by a nice bearish channel right here. So we did move through this daily zone, right? We broke it as support, tested as resistance. So we are technically bearish on the daily, bullish on the weekly, bearish on the daily, bullish on the 4-hour. Okay, so that's what all this consolidation is. We are still below this daily zone. However, we are recently above this 4-hour. We're expecting that lower high. It didn't form, so it came back into this range and now is forming a bullish wedge. So there's really only two ways this could play out, and we did mark this up Sunday. This has just been still consolidating, still developing this pattern. It hasn't made any big developments. So we're going to stick with our original analysis, favoring a bullish outlook first. And for us to get in on an opportunity here, an entry opportunity, we need to see this. I want to see a break of this little lower high in here, a break of this pattern, some sort of high or low above this pattern would be good enough to enter on. Yes, this daily's here, but I think if it did give us the right setups, that this wouldn't really matter and that this would be a really nice move with good momentum. And this whole pattern and this movement kind of supports that, especially if we saw a higher low form generally right here. And then we'll take a long opportunity, play it into the next range, and then manage accordingly. So that would be a really great trade, guys. Well over 2-to-1, you could just see it. But yeah, so that's our first option. Definitely looking long. However, if this pattern fails, if this supporting trend line, which seems to be acting as very strong support, finally breaks, look for a lower high below this 200 EMA. Try to take a short into the 4-hour, and then pretty much do the exact same thing. Look for a lower high into this next zone down here. Okay. So that's pretty much EJ. I mean, it's long, first and foremost. It needs to prove a lot for us to go short. But if it does go short, this is what we're expecting. Something like this. All right, so this makes sense. This is looking good. Let's actually double check the daily on EJ here. Just because the volume is so big, I like to zoom out and see these daily targets. All right, so we are trapped in a range here. If we broke this daily, we could definitely be playing it into this new range here. Could maybe find ourselves back at this monthly. We'll see. That could be pretty awesome. However, if this does fail to push higher here and continues with this bearish channel, finding ourselves down towards a new low is definitely possible, closer to 121.5. So yeah, looking pretty good on EJ. Always has some serious movement on EJ. This thing moves like crazy. But yeah, so let's move on to gold. That's our last pair for today. then we'll wrap this up. So daily time from the start. Nothing really much to say about the trend on the daily here, other than that it's crazy bullish. Super, super bullish. Been bullish for a while. Broke 1800, shot up 2070, gave us a descending triangle, broke through the support of that triangle at 1930, dropped lower, started going sideways, which is pretty much where we are now. We're stuck in this consolidation below or between 1930 and 1875. So let's drop down, take a closer look at that. Here's that range, as you guys can see, 1930, 1875. Tons of fake outs on both directions. Some down here, false lower highs, fake breakout, failed pattern up on top here, another false lower high. So yeah, we've been ranging for a while. This thing is kind of having trouble gaining a footing, seeing where it's going to go, but we are back within the range, so we are going to consider long opportunities right now. Back in the range, there's decent enough entries here. We'd have a good enough stop loss, good risk reward where we could technically play a range here. I don't recommend it, but this one in particular looks like a really good setup. So let's go ahead and highlight something here. This is not really a rectangle, but it is a bit of consolidation. So I'm just going to highlight this for you guys. And what I need to see here, essentially, to take a long opportunity is this. Some sort of break of this 200 EMA, whether you get a retest, whether you get a higher low above it, that'd be better. But pretty much any sort of break and retest of this 200, end of this pattern, confirming this is a higher low setup, would be good enough to enter on. You could take a nice long into 1930 and maybe even manage to trade above 1930 if it continues bullish. But either way, this is a good opportunity here for you guys. We did technically have a little buy signal here the other day. We covered that. It did wick, it did reject, but you'd pretty much be at the same entry spot. So it wasn't the right entry, but the entry setup was there. So we're going to look for something similar just outside of this little bit of consolidation, and of course above this 200 EMA. Could be a nice long trade though. However, if this does reject, if the bears step in, if we see massive rejection from this level, look for a lower high below 1875. Could get a potential short opportunity on that. So looking pretty good here. Let's go ahead and double check our targets on the daily. So this is what's interesting about a range, is because every time it's been down here, gold towards 1875, it's gone so bullish, it's not even funny. It's just rejected with so much momentum. So maybe we could see that happen now. We'll see. If we see the right setups, we'll definitely take the entry.
Yeah, gold's looking bullish.
Yeah, exactly. And then play this range. So this also lines up with DXY. As DXY is dropping, you'll see gold start to appreciate and vice versa. But yeah, looking pretty long. So we could see a nice little setup. And then make some good trades for this week. So quick recap, guys. Covered DXY, covered AU, covered AJ, UJ, which is dropping like crazy, EJ, and gold. So yeah, good amount of pairs covered this week, guys, or today rather. And then some good setups playing out this week. Not bad at all.
Yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated in the chat, in the signals, in the premium analysis. If you guys want to get started with that inside the Discord, just go to the Start Here section and you guys can get more information on that. You guys can sign up if you want to. Again, all you got to do is come into the Discord and go to the top, go to Start Here, and you guys can get more information on each of these, and you can sign up. Here's the premium analysis, here's signals. We are going to announce a Black Friday sale for the course, so I'm going to announce that in the chat. And later today, we are going to have a live session again, but it's going to be for members only. So I know there's a few members in here, so we'll get on a live session later today, just look at some charts, just chop it up a little bit. And one last call, if you want it in on the giveaway, just put your name in the chat, your Discord name, and we'll announce the winner later this week. So this was another live trading session. Pretty good one. Like Nick said, covered a bunch of pairs, bunch of potential setups, and we'll keep you guys updated inside of the chat. And we'll be back again tomorrow at our normal time at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. We'll catch you guys on the next session.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Take care. Peace.
Peace.